Hello friends, and thank you so much for stopping by the channel. My name is Talisha and I also go by CreativiTeeByT, and in today's video I'm going to be sharing 2 easy sewing makes. I will also be sharing a sewing fail, and I'm also going to have a giveaway on this video. So if you're interested in all of those things, please stay tuned. Alright, so I successfully completed 2 sewing makes, and I made them for several reasons. The first reason is that I wanted to participate in the BHM Pattern Designers Challenge. If you're not aware of what the BHM Pattern Designers Challenge is, it is a challenge that has been hosted by Natita of So Natural Dane, and she has been doing this for the last 6 years, so this makes year 7. The challenge is to challenge all of you that sew, quilt, crochet, anything like that, to make something that was designed by a Black pattern designer, or you can purchase from a Black-owned business that is related to craft, so like yarn and things like that. Now, the challenge began on the 1st of February and it ended the 28th of February, but you can still see all the lovely makes that people have made by using the hashtag BHM Pattern Designers Challenge 25. I'll put that in the screen as well. This challenge was held on Instagram. I know some people that have YouTube channels have also posted their makes on YouTube, such as me, so you can also type it in on YouTube. All right, the second reason why I made these 2 makes was for Valentine's Day, and if you watched my sewing plans video for February, you would have seen that I wanted to make something for Valentine's Day, and yes, this is the set, and as you can see, it's very red. Okay, now the last reason why I made these 2 makes were to have some simplistic separates in my wardrobe that I can pair with most anything, or they are very pairable. Now, as previously mentioned, I wanted to participate in the challenge, and my top is the make that qualifies for this because the beautiful Brittany of Brittany J. Jones is the designer. I did speak about her in detail in my last video, but I will give you a little overview for those of you who are new. And Brittany J. Jones is a very well-known sewist in the sewing community. She does work for Simplicity Design Group. She has a very nice blog that she keeps updated. She has a bunch of sew-alongs and tutorials here on YouTube if you are interested in looking at anything that she makes, and if you need tips. Now, if you'd like to know more about her, I would definitely link the blog post, or not the blog post, but the link to the actual blog below, and I will also link to her YouTube channel. Because I was on a Brittany kick, I was also going to make an additional pattern of hers, but that's the fail. I was unsuccessful, and I will share why towards the end of the video, so you're definitely gonna want to stay tuned. Now, back to the sewing makes and the details of the patterns that I made. Now, for the top, again, I made Nomi 2002. This is the pattern right here, and I'll make sure that I put it in the screen as well. But this here, this top, is the one that I began with, and this is a sewing repeat. I made this top last year for the same exact challenge, and I absolutely love this top. Okay, in my opinion, it is very nice for my figure, and it's very stylish. I wore my other top that I made last year so much that I decided to make it again because I really enjoy it, and I feel like that's important when you're making things or buying things to wear. I do have a review on my channel from last year for this pattern already, so I'm just going to quickly brush through the details of this, and I will link to that video in the description box below if you'd like to see it, and then I will move on to the skirt. This is Nomi 2002, and the pattern description is Mrs. and Women's Knit Tops and Jeans. The top is a knit mock neck turtleneck. I think that's mock turtleneck, and it has sleeveless or 3/4 length sleeves, and it also has a tie belt and side slits. The trouser for the jeans, I'm not going to really talk about that because I didn't make it, never have, but it does have pleats and pockets, and you can have a straight or a tapered type of leg. Now, for the views of the top, again, there's two views. Top A is the longer view, and view B is the shorter version. I made view A, which is the longer version, and I also have the sleeves in it. And for the fabric recommendations, it calls for stretch knits only, such as interlock jersey, rib knit, ITY, sweater knit, those type of things. The sewing scale on the pattern, though, is set as average, but that it's not average for the top. It's very easy for the top. It's average because of the pants and or the jeans on this pattern. So if you're getting it for the top, just know that you're not going to have a hard time at all. I used 3 pattern pieces for the top, which was the front, back, and the sleeves, and I didn't make the optional sash because I made it last time and I didn't wear it. It didn't look right on me, and I think it's because of how busty I am up top, and it just kind of cups the bust, and then the slits kind of look weird. So for me, that was a no, but I did try it before, and if you need to just use that pattern piece to make a sash for something else, you definitely have it. For the notions, you only need your thread, and it comes in size 10 to 38. I made a 22W because it was already cut from last year. I think it fits fine. It fits me the way that I like my tops to fit, and so I do think it looks like the pattern drawings and the instructions were definitely easy, and there is a sew along for this as well if you're new to sewing and you need help. But the things that I liked about the pattern, I love the style, the design, the views, the easy construction, and as far as the style, those side slits that I mentioned earlier are just like everything to me. My fabric is a ponte knit, so it has more structure, it's thicker than your standard knit, so mine kind of like it stick out a little bit. I mean, it's stiffer, so it has more structure. So what I'm trying to say is if you use like an ITY or some kind of other type of knit, it will drape differently and maybe better. So I don't know, maybe if I did use a sash with that, it might look a little different. But anyway, back to the slits. I love the slits, but one thing I will mention about the slits is they are very, very high. In my photos, I had on like a flesh tone cami underneath because I like the slits. I want them to show, but I don't want to show my own skin for the reason of maybe I want to wear a spank, or I just don't want anyone to see my skin. So yeah, that was the reason why I did it, but I can show you here on the camera too in case I didn't get a good look. So I have these pants on because I want to show you my skirt, but the slits are all the way up here, so this much of your skin from here into my hand would be showing. So like I said, I absolutely love that about the pattern, but just know that that is a thing. Now, there's nothing I didn't like about the pattern. Nothing new about it because I've already made it. But again, I used a red ponte knit that I purchased from Dallas, Texas when I was at the sorority sewing retreat. But yeah, I just sewed it. It is no alterations. Definitely will recommend it. And if you're worried about the inside of the mock neck flipping out, I will say that I had trouble with that the first time. Just use some stitch witchery to help it stay down. I didn't mention this in the first video because I didn't, well, I don't know, maybe I did, but just use some stitch witchery so that it just stays down and it doesn't flip out, because this is like the seam, it's a possibility. You do stitch the sides of it to the shoulder seams, but it can still have potential to pop out. So like I said, use the stitch witchery. After about 3 washes, it may come off because stitch witchery is not permanent, but you can just reapply it, and it's better to do it that way using the stitch witchery versus like a heat and bond, because with heat and bond there's glue on it and it could melt through the fabric and it will leave a permanent stain on your clothing. So like I said, just use the stitch witchery, and not even with this, with any. But would I recommend this pattern of course, I've made it twice, so that's a no-brainer. And this pattern is available on the simplicity.com website, possibly still in Joann's. I'm pretty sure it is. So they're having that sale now. Their liquidation sales patterns are, I don't know, maybe 30% off. I'm not really sure. I haven't been in Joann's lately. I plan to go later today, but yeah, you can still pick this up. And this here is a very probably special pattern of Brittany's, because this was her very first Know Me pattern, and it was a super good one that I feel like is timeless. All right, so let's now go ahead and talk about this skirt pattern, which is Simplicity 9757. And I made View D, which is this bottom skirt. I'll put it in the screen here, the shorter skirt. So this pattern description is Mrs. Knit top and skirt, and the top have fitted cap sleeves. It has a high mock neck and an optional rouge side for the top and on the skirt. And the skirt also has an elasticized waistband, and the skirt is figure hugging, and it comes in a midi length with rouge details. I think I mentioned it earlier, and it just comes in like a long length as well with the side slit. Now I made View D like I mentioned before, but I didn't use the rouge detail on the sides because the skirt is already short and I didn't want it to be shorter, and the rouge detail would have made it at least 2 inches shorter. I honestly meant to add 2 inches of length so that I could rouge the sides and then the length still be like what it turned out to be, but I totally forgot about it. Once I start cutting the fabric, I make that first zzz, and I was like, no, but at that point there was no going back. So for the fabric recommendations, this fabric recommends stretch knits only for all views, and Brittany's top pattern also recommends stretch knits only. And most of the time when patterns recommend these stretch knits only, it does not mention ITYs. Like, I don't have a lot of patterns in my stash that mention ITYs, but these two patterns did. And although I don't like ITY knits, I have so much of it because I purchased it before I understood what it was and how it felt, and I just don't like it because it's very slinky and bouncy, and it makes me feel like I'm wearing a rubber band or something. I don't know, it just feels strange to me. Now, because I have these two patterns and I am now aware that it says ITY, I am going to use some of my ITY fabric in my stash to give the fabric one last try. If that fails, please know there will be giveaways, but that's not the giveaway that I'm doing on this channel. That will be towards the end. All right, so for this fabric, I use the same red fabric, Ponte knit, that I purchased in Texas, for making this top. The skill level is rated as easy, and yes, it is. This is easy to sew for every single view on this Simplicity 9757 pattern. Okay, run and get this if you are new to sewing, because I'm sure this one is also at your local Joann's liquidation store. Now, for the views that do have the rouging, that is also easy, but you don't have to do the rouging, just like I didn't do for my skirt, and I'll tell you why in a second. Now, for the pattern pieces on this skirt, I use 3. I use the front, the back, and the waistband. Easy peasy. For the alterations or changes, yes, I added 1.5 inches to the width of my waistband because the thinner ones just really don't feel comfortable on my body makeup, and also I wanted something to help me make the skirt a little bit longer. And because I added the width to my waistband, I also used a elastic that was 1 5/8 inch. I'll just double check on that, but anyway, here is the waistband adding 1.5 inches. And look how clean this is. You might see some markings on the side because of the hanger clipping it, but yeah, this is it. I've got my little label in there, so yeah, you're looking at the back side, but the front and the back are the same. And look how smooth this waistband is. Here's my little label. So let me verify. I have my elastics right here. Okay, so this is a Sewology, so it came from Hobby Lobby, and yeah, it was 1 5/8 inch elastic. Okay, and so as you can see, let me pull it back up here again. My elastic band has no room in it, right? And I did thread this through. So what am I trying to say? That 1 5/8 inch elastic goes perfectly into the band for this pattern, the waistband for this pattern, and adding an additional 1.5 inches. Okay, so if you want to add to yours 1.5 inches for the width of your waistband, just know you need 1 5/8 elastic. All right, I move on. So I don't have any recommendations to this pattern at all, unless you want to add the elastic band. Just do the same thing that I did. I mentioned earlier that I did not add the ruching, and that's because I didn't want it shorter. So for the notions, you just need thread and elastic. This pattern comes in size small through extra large. Yeah, extra large. The size that I cut was an extra large, and that was to accommodate the different sizings on the pattern according to my size. Does it look like the pattern on the photo? No, only because I didn't put in the ruching, but it looks like view C, but shorter without a slit. So yeah, the instructions were easy to follow. If you've sewn for not even a little while, you could sew this without the instructions, but it was super easy to sew. So the things that I liked about this pattern, I love the simple design that could be a staple piece in your wardrobe. I also like that you can learn from this pattern by learning the skill of ruching, and then you can apply that technique to any other pattern that allows for you to do so, meaning like closed in seams. If you have open seams like you have on my top, you won't be able to do it the way this explains, but if it's not, you can. So there's nothing I disliked about the pattern. Of course, I didn't learn anything new and no first time experiences, but I would definitely recommend this pattern, the whole entire pattern, because I've made the top twice. Okay, and so I definitely recommend it. You can get it on the Simplicity website, and like I said, it's probably at Joann's. So let's move on now to the sewing fail. So I had planned to make another pattern of Brittany's for the BHM Pattern Designers Challenge, but I did not, and I'm gonna go ahead and insert a clip as to why, because if you're planning to make this pattern that I'm getting ready to share with you, the information that I'm getting ready to share will be very beneficial for your planning. All right, so I'm gonna insert the clip now. All right, friends, so I just finished, I should say, cutting this pattern out. This is the new Brittany pattern ME 2110, and I purchased the smallest size packet here, which is, well, I think it's the smallest, I don't know, but it's 10 to 18. Okay, normally they go up higher, and you can see all the pattern pieces laid out here. I checked the finished bust before I started, and the bust measurements, as you can see here, my bust is a 46. So I said, well, to give me some room, I'll cut a size 14. Okay, and you would think that would give you enough room, because it'll be a 50 and 3/4. Okay, so when I purchased this pattern, Brittany had not come out with her sew along. When I'm bored, tired, but don't want to do anything, sometimes I'll watch the sew alongs from the designers. So about 9 days ago, apparently she released the sew along, and I didn't see it, but I had already purchased this pattern anyway. And when she was stating or showing how she made this top which, you know, generally we all know how if we've been sewing for a time, but I just wanted to, I don't know, watch it. And because I knew I was going to be making it, she said, for reference, I cut a size 16. And I'm thinking, what? If she cut a size 16 and if it's like this, how is it going to look on me? Because, you know, I'm busty, right? Brittany is not as busty as I am. And when you're busty, you know, it lifts, and then, you know, my boobs now, they hang, right? So they're going to be low. So I'm like, no. So I did a fit test by putting the tissue test, I should say, up to me, and no ma'am, my boobs, like, they were here. The bottom of them are here, even with my nice lifting bra. So I can't wear this. The pattern pieces for the size 18 are all cut out, and everything else is intact. I didn't cut out the patch pocket here because I didn't want a pocket on mine, but everything is cut out. If you want this pattern, put it in the video in the comment section below, and then I'll send it to you, because I can't do anything with it. Even when I lose weight, I don't think I would get to, I don't know, I think I would still probably want a 24 t-shirt the way it's fitting. So I'll repurchase this later, but like I said, if you can fit into the size packet, for reference, Brittany is wearing a size 16, and this is how it's fitting. Like, I wouldn't have been able to draw up any of this and get any of this detail from the scrunching of the side ties if I had gone with this 18. So just keep that in mind when you are in the drawing, because I don't want to hold on to it. So yeah, I cut out the largest pattern size, if you did not notice, or if I didn't say, which means every size for this pattern is still available. So if you would like to have this pattern free, $99, free of charge, please let me know in the comments below by typing BHM Brittany. All right, so now I will share with you more photos of my set. These are all great patterns, even the one that I didn't get a chance to make. Oops. And I'm definitely gonna repurchase this. I know that this was gonna be like so good, and I was so super excited about having another lounge set because I was gonna make the pants with it. But you know, like I said, I'll just have to revisit that later. And I do recommend that you add all 3 patterns to your stash if you don't already have them. So please let me know what you think about this Valentine's BHM Pattern Designers Challenge set in the comments below, and make sure you also type in BHM Brittany if you want to enter into the drawing for this pattern, and I will announce it next week. And make sure you go over to Brittany's website to check out her blog and her other patterns. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you know what I'm getting ready to say. Please take a pause for the cause and click the like button and the subscribe button and the gray notification bell to be notified of future videos if you enjoy this type of content, and I hope you do. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to all of my returning and new subscribers for your support, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.